All right. So now that we have talked about the front side of this sheet of paper for your notes for page 31 in your binder, or the line of best fit notes, I want you to go ahead and flip it over. And it now says finding the slope for the line of best fit. So we know that anytime we draw a line, that we can find the slope of a line because the slope measures a line. So we've talked about slope a lot. We know that slope is a measurement of a line, and we know that we like to write slope in y equals mx plus b form, or slope-intercept form. That was our entire last unit. So slope is very similar to the line of best fit. Why? Because the line of best fit is a line, and you can find the slope of any line. So the first thing I want to do to introduce you to this idea is just go ahead and set down your pencil and paper, and you don't even have to write anything down for this, but I'm going to show you this website. All right. So this is a website, and it's pretty cool, and I'm going to show you what it does. So let's go ahead and look at this website. So in this website, it says that I can either go ahead and I can, basically what it tells me is I can go ahead and click the graph and add points or add coordinates to the table. So let's go ahead and do this. If I look at the graph, let's go ahead and just pick some points. So let's say I pick points, I don't know, let's go with 2, 4, and then I go, okay, 2, oh, well, let's do 3, 5, okay, then we'll do 4, 6, alright, and then I can do 5, let's get crazy and do 9, and then we'll go back and we'll do 6, 8. Alright, so is this in a straight line? No. Why is it not in a straight line? Because there's like this weird little one up here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to say that I would say if I had to draw a line of best fit, it would probably go somewhere like right around here, right? I would say so. So let's go ahead and show my guess. Now, before I even start my guess, I want you to look at what format this is, and y equals blank x plus blank. Well, I know that this blank represents my slope. How do I know it represents my slope? Well, in y equals mx plus b form, m is representative of slope. So I'm going to guess that my slope, by looking at this graph and looking at this data, is probably about 1. Right? Because my y changes by 1 almost every time, and so does my x. So I'm going to guess that it's about 1. So I'm going to guess 1. And then if I went over here and I had to guess and I had to go back to my initial value, I would say that from using the table, if I go back 2, that this is probably going to be at 2. So I'm just going to go ahead and try a guess for my y-intercept or my initial value being 2. Well, check that out. That's pretty close, right? That goes exactly through these lines, but it kind of leaves this one out. So this is a good estimate of what the slope of my line for the best fit would be. The slope would probably be about 1, and the y-intercept for this would probably be about 2. So if I wrote that this was the equation of the line of my best fit, y equals 1x plus 2, I would probably be pretty close. But let's go ahead and see what the actual one is. Okay, so I was pretty close. Now look, the actual equation for the line of best fit for this example is y equals 1.2 x plus 1.6. So if we look at it, y equals 1.2 x plus 1.6. Well, how do I know that that's true? It says that the slope of the line of my best fit, which is the green one, that is the actual and accurate line of best fit, it says that it's moving about, It says that it's moving about 1.2 at a time and that its y-intercept is 1.6. So let's try again. Let's do another one. So let's do a little bit more of a scattered one. So what if I said 3, 4, 4, 7, I said 5, 6, I said 8, 11, and I said, what about 9, 13, or we'll do 14. Okay, so look, this is an example of a scatter plot. Now, there's a bunch of points plotted on my graph, and it clearly has a positive correlation because as my x is increasing, so is my y. And I would say that this has a linear relationship because as a whole, all the points on my scatter plot are going in an upward line sort of fashion. Now, how do I know it's linear? Because it's moving as a whole like the shape of a line. Now, because it's moving in the shape of a line, I can estimate a line of best fit. Now, I would estimate that the line of best fit would probably go directly through here, right? Well, let's guess. So if I had to guess my line of best fit, I'm going to want to move, this is my guess line, the purple line. I'm going to want to move it so that it's probably closer to my points because right now the guess for my line of best fit is way too low because all the points are above it, and I know that when I estimate my line of best fit, I like for there to be an even number above and an even number below. So I'm going to come over here and look at my table, and I'm going to use what I know about functions, rate of change, and slope to guess what the slope of this line would be. Well, it appears that this line is probably moving about, if I had to guess, this moves 3, this goes down by 1, up by 5, up by 3. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that the slope of my line moves at about a rate of 3 in my y, and then I'd say it probably moves at about a rate of 1 in my x. So let's just go ahead and write 3. Okay, a little too high. Now we see that our line of best fit is going a little too high. Well, what if I adjust my y-intercept and changed it to 1? Still too high, still too steep of a slope. You see how the steepness of this slope is really steep and all of my points are underneath it? Well, steepness of slope has to do with how great the number is, right? Well, now I want to make this a little less steep, so I'm going to go down a little bit. What about 2? Getting closer. What about 1.5? Oh, looking way better. So I'm going to guess that the line of best fit for my scatter plot is y equals 1.5x plus 1, where 1.5 is my slope and 1 is my y-intercept. My actual line of best fit, the accurate line of best fit, would be 1.5x minus 0.34. So I have a negative intercept at 0.34, and I have a rate of change or a slope of 1.51. Pretty cool, right? So, now let's go ahead and look at your notes. So your notes show you this little scatter plot. Now let's go ahead and look at this scatter plot together. And I'm going to show you how to write the equation of a line for your scatter plot. And guess what? You already know how to do this because you're so smart and you've already done it before. So let's go ahead and take a look. It's going to jog your memory, I promise. So when I look at this scatter plot, it's moving in an upward direction. It has a positive correlation because as my x increases, so does my y. And this is my line of best fit. Now what's really good about this line of best fit is it goes through exactly 2 points on the line, right? Okay, when it goes through 2 points on the line, that's a good sign. And there's an even number of points above it as there are below it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 above and 1, 2, 3, 4 below. So this is a really, really good line of best fit. Now I went ahead and I made a little chart of all the points that were on your scatter plot. So I went ahead and found all the x and the y coordinates. So here's 0.550. Here's 160. Here's 180, okay? So I want you to go ahead and pause the video and let everybody copy down the x and the y coordinates, in their table. So go ahead and pause the video and then start it back up when everybody is done. All right, so now we're going to talk about how you find the slope and the y-intercept for your line of best fit and how you can write an equation for the line of best fit. All right, so how do I find the slope? Well, we all know that slope is the measurement between 2 points on a line. So if you are given 2 points, you can find the slope. So that is what we are going to do today. So let's pick 2 points. Let's pick 2 points from our scatter plot. Well, we're going to pick points 1 and 60 and 3 and 90. So in 160 and 390, 1 is my x and 60 is my y. 3 is my x and 90 is my y. This is the first step. The first step is for you to pick 2 points. So on your notes where it says step number 1, pick 2 points from your graph or table, I want you to go ahead and write the two ordered pairs or the 2 coordinates that we chose. We chose 1, 60, and 3, 90. All right, the next step, or step number 2, is to find the slope of these 2 coordinates. Well, you and I both know that you can find the slope of 2 coordinates by using slope formula. Slope formula says y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So I have labeled y2 and y1 and x2 and x1. So the way I would write it would be 90 minus 60 divided by 3 minus 1. I can even go back and show you. So look, 90 minus 60 over 3 minus 1. Because this is my y2, this is my y1, this is my x2, and this is my x1. Okay, now when I subtract 60 from 90, I get 30. And when I subtract 1 from 3, I get 2. So I now have the fraction 30 over 2, which equals 15. So my slope, or my m, is going to equal 15. So I'm just going to go back real quick, and I want you to copy down this part right here for number 2. So go ahead and pause the video and have everybody copy m equals 90 minus 60 over 3 minus 1 equals 30 over 2, which is equal to 15. So pause the video and let everybody copy that down. Okay, the next thing that we are going to do is find b, and we've done this before also. So what you do for step 3 is now you have your y, you have your x, you have your m, and you're looking for b. So we picked our 2 points, and now we're going to plug them into our equation. So I have my slope, which is 15, and I can pick any coordinate from my line and plug it into my equation to solve for b. We did this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick 160. So in 160, 60 is my y, so I plug it in, equals my slope, which is 15, times my x, which is 1, plus b. So then I go ahead and I solve it. 60 equals, well, what's 15 times 1? It's 15 plus b. Now to get b alone, I have to subtract 15 from both sides, and I am left with b equals 45. B is my y-intercept. We have done this before. We practiced this in our last unit. So go ahead and pause and everybody copy this step down for step number 3. I would make sure that I copy this part down where I plug in my information and this part down where I show the work for plugging in my information. Alright, now I want to rewrite my equation in slope-intercept form. This is step number 4. So I write y equals mx plus b. And I replace my slope, or m, with my slope, which is 15, and I replace my y-intercept with 45. So go ahead and copy this down for step number 4. Now you are going to do a practice worksheet. If we need to go back and review anything, please go ahead and rewind the video and check it out. So please be well behaved and make sure that you do your worksheet and turn it in for a grade.